Welcome back. We're continuing on with our Pam and Penny's trailer build from Stardew Valley. The formula episodes of building a diorama is the base build, which is what we did in episode 1, and episode 2 is typically the accessorizing phase. So we are building accessories to add to the diorama that makes it feel more like real life. Off stream, I worked on solidifying some of the edges of cardboard, especially around windows, to make the cardboard edge disappear with air dry clay. I also created several horizontal blinds to add as window decoration, as well as some curtains. Accessorizing the trailer is very important in that it's adding dimensionality. So adding on top of the base flat cardboard is important because I don't want it to look like cardboard. I am trying my best to not use hot glue, but I ultimately fail. I love hot glue. As many of you who watch my streams know, it is one of my favorite crafting materials, and I know what you're thinking. Oh God, no, please, no, not another one of those hot glue crazy people. Yes, I am crazy about hot glue, but when it comes to gluing paper to paper, I recognize that there are better ways of adhering things together. So while I do use a lot of hot glue in my builds, it's not the end-all be-all. I am trying to grow as an artist, I promise you. I'm adding a roof to that window seat bump out that I wanted to add kind of like a sloping roof. The thick cardboard that I'm using is actually like a chipboard that I got from a beer case, which I thought was pretty appropriate for the build, considering it's for Pam. We're now adding in a trailer hitch to the build. I imagine at one point in time when the trailer was installed by a vehicle, perhaps Lewis's truck, but having a trailer hitch is fairly important for a trailer. Who knew? Adding in the window treatments was a little bit of a challenge, but that's one of the reasons why I kept a hole in the bottom of the trailer. For the window curtains, I used a coffee filter because I wanted I didn't know if I wanted to illuminate the entire trailer, but if I did, I wanted to be able to have some light shown through. So that's one of the reasons why I chose a coffee filter over a fabric, which now looking back, I probably would have done differently. I'm going to be going in and finalizing some of the window treatments, giving it a little bit of a dry brush. I am deviating a little bit from the pixel art of the game. I decided instead of a table with a bottle on the outside, I wanted to have a cooler with a couple of brews in it with some ice. We'll be painting it in that classic red and white color pattern for coolers. And finally, we're cutting an end of a pipe cap to paint for a future for a tire. Time jump to the next weekend. This is our third live stream that happened in July of 2022. And I'm just kind of showcasing all the stuff that I've done outside of stream. Well, one is kind of working on the electronics of the front lantern that's on the house. That's one of the interactivity parts of the build that I want to do, is have some sort of light that goes on. I've modified a little tea candle light and made the wires a little bit longer. I'm making a lantern that will be able to go over it that looks like it goes with the trailer. Some of the other things that I did for the build is I scuffed up some clear plastic from some takeaway containers and put it over top of the windows. The windows have panes now. I also did several parts of the air dry clay on top of the build. I will be eventually putting in air dry clay all over the trailer itself. Getting this to fit was a little bit of a task, but it worked pretty well. I decided to do Elmer's glue here instead of hot glue. I wanted this to dry very flush, and with hot glue it's just way too thick. So Elmer's glue was the right call here. I've added in all of the accessories that I think that I need to add at this point, so we're going to finalize that last side of the build with some more DOS air dry clay. This clay is really nice to work with and works well with water, so if it gets any dry and brittle, you can kind of dip your fingers into water, rework it, and even smooth it out really nicely just with your fingers. I feel like the DOS clay really helps give this trailer a lived-in feeling of perhaps Alex has thrown his football a little bit too hard and hit Pam's trailer probably a little bit once more too often than he should have. One of the other things that I did off stream is measurements and laser cutting for the window frames. Adding some final details for this roof, I wanted it to be a little bit different than the rest of the trailer. The rag provides a little bit of textural difference than the air dry clay. And I'm adding in a few last other details to this build. So I've got a doorknob, hitch for the trailer, and adding some of the utility ports in the back, as well as a license plate. And the license plate is red bus driver. Starting on the base work, and I'm roughing up the foam to make it look more landscapey, rock based, and it's really just kind of roughing it up and making it less flat. I take a lot of foam off, and then I add a lot of the foam back on. This really helps makes your build look like you're in landscape, because a lot of land is not perfectly flat. Finally I'm going to be coating this with a mixture of water, Mod Podge paint, and I have a little bit of sand in there. And this is going to be helping me prep the base for painting, final painting, as well as making sure that everything is sealed up. Stay tuned for our third and final episode, where I finalize Pam's trailer by painting, bringing everything together. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay crafty.